What's up, recovery family? How you doing? Welcome to the Your Recovery Mentor channel. It's been a few days since I've posted a video. I had to take some time to spend with the family, practice a little bit of self-care, but I'm back now. And I'm back with something a little controversial. This is for all of you opioid addicts out there, and I don't care if it's pills or heroin or fentanyl or whatever it is. I'd like to discuss openly excuse me, what is the best way to get off of opiates? And there's the obvious answer of just quitting cold turkey or going to a detox residential facility and doing a short-term Suboxone taper, which is typically, some depends on what you're using and how much you're using, but it's typically 5 to 10 days of Suboxone taper, and they start you out at, on average, 8 milligrams and slowly wean you down over those 5 to 10 days until you're off of it. And they'll give you some other detox meds to try to help with the muscle cramps, the stomach cramps, restless legs, sleeplessness, all the stuff that comes with opiate withdrawal. So there's that option, right, which is the most common option. But recently, and by recently I mean within the last few years, which is pretty recent considering how long AA's been around and NA's been around, there's been MAT programs, MAT programs, medically assisted treatment, I believe is what it stands for. And there's, I believe, 3 options for MAT program. One is being Suboxone, whether that's a short-term taper or Suboxone maintenance, which Suboxone maintenance is more long-term. The pros with that is, you're getting a replacement opioid that's going to fill those receptors in your brain, and you're also combining it with another drug, naloxone, which is going to block any incoming opiates besides the buprenorphine and the Suboxone. So you can't really get high on heroin or oxycotton or whatever that you were taking before. As soon as you start taking subs, it's pretty much game over until you get off of them. Now, at first I was against this because I was, a total straight edge AA big book thumper that you need to be completely abstinent of any and all substances. And that was early on in my recovery, and I've been clean and sober since November 1st, 2013, so a lot of time has passed since I had that stance, and since then my stance has kind of softened on the entire topic. I'm actually for MAT now, where I used to be against it, because of the harm reduction, because of the decrease in overdose deaths caused by, getting something that's laced with fentanyl, because fentanyl, as you know, is just flooding into our country right now. And that's not me being political, that's just me stating facts. And everything, has a chance of having fentanyl in it, not just opiates. There's been cocaine that's been found with fentanyl in it, methamphetamine found with fentanyl in it. I mean, you name it, and it's been found with fentanyl in it. And they do that to try to get you even more hooked than you already are on whatever substance you're taking. And the sad part is fentanyl is so incredibly strong, it is like, I think 1,000 times stronger than morphine, that it's leading to more and more overdose deaths. So taking a drug like Suboxone, which has been approved as a drug to use to detox people off of opioids, I'm for that. That's why on our website, yourrecoverymentor.com, we give you a telehealth option to where you can do Suboxone maintenance through telehealth from the comfort of your home. You can speak to a doctor. I believe they have options to speak to counselors, and they will send the medication to your local pharmacy for you to pick up, and they will instruct you from home on when to take the Suboxone, how to take the Suboxone. So it's a reasonable choice, or at least something to consider. The other option is Vivitrol, which is especially useful if you're pregnant. and you're trying to get off of opioids, I believe Vivitrol is at least considered the safest route to try to help someone get off of any type of opioids. Then you have methadone, which, to be honest with you, methadone, in my opinion, in high doses, it's gonna get you high. It's an opiate. But here's the issue with methadone. Okay, it's great to get you off of whatever opiate you're on, but that stuff gets into your bone marrow. Like, the withdrawal from methadone lasts at least a month. It's one of the worst withdrawals that you can go through besides benzodiazepines or alcohol. So I'm not very much in favor of methadone clinics and everything, but at the end of the day, to each their own. If it's helping you to get your life back, then who am I to say not to do it? So it's obviously a personal choice, and it's always case by case, because everybody's body chemistry is different. People's bodies are going to react differently to different substances. So what might work really well for one person might not work at all for the other person, is what I'm trying to say. So you have to do your research and come to a conclusion on what's going to be best for you to get off of the opioids, so that you're on a safer alternative that in most cases is monitored and gives you a chance to get your life back. And while you're on these other alternatives, you can then learn how to continue to better your life, better who you are as a person, get rid of the negative habits that you've picked up while you were in your active addiction, so that all around you become just a better version of self, right? And the one thing I didn't mention, which really isn't spoken about very often, is kratom, or however you want to say it, kratom, or however you want to word it. Pronunciation's up to you. But I've done a lot of personal research on people using kratom to get off of opioids, and kratom can be bought online. It can be bought, at head shops, smoke shops, whatever you want to call them. And I've read a ton of success stories about people using kratom to get off of opium, or get off of opioids. So there's that option as well. And people say, just to give you a rundown, if this is something that you're considering, a lot of people say you have to wait till you're within withdrawal from the opioid that you're taking, and that you're supposed to start with a dose of 5 grams. It could be, if you're a heavy opioid user, you might need more than that. It could be 7 grams, it could be 8 grams, but they say to start with 5 grams, wait 45 minutes, see how your body adapts to it, and then go from there. If you need to add another half a gram, add a half a gram, and do it in small increments until you've achieved the dose that is going to, ease your suffering from the withdrawals. Now, I've never tried that. Back when I got clean and sober, kratom wasn't even a thing. It probably was, but it was so, not even talked about, that it was basically non-existent. Like, people didn't really know what kratom was. And if you look at, the FDA, and if you look at other health sites like the Mayo Clinic, they're against it. And, you got to wonder what's the reason for that. If there's so many success stories coming out about people getting off of these hardcore opioids, like painkillers such as oxycotton, or even heroin, then why are they against it? And a lot of it is, it points to a lack of research. There's not much research on the effects of kratom and what it does to the human body over a long period of time. We just don't have that information. Is it a suitable alternative to get off opioids? Well, according to people that I've researched, yeah, it is. It works for them, and it helps with their pain, especially people with, that are diagnosed with issues that cause chronic pain. It helps them with that. It helps them with their anxiety. It helps them with their depression. It gives them boosts of energy, and it's easily accessible. So I guess, what I'm trying to say is, you got to do your research at the end of the day and figure out what's the best option for you? What is going to be the best way for you to go about getting off of opioids, at least the dangerous ones that can cause you to overdose and die. And then what's the best method of doing that? Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a certified counselor at least. But I guess at the end of the day, my suggestion would be to do your own research, make some phone calls, talk to some people that have the medical background to tell you about these different things, but do your own personal research as well and look into what are the best options for you. Because if it can get you off of oxys or it can get you off of heroin, more power to you then, because it gives you a chance to take your life back. That's why I changed my stance on MAT. That's why we offer MAT at the outpatient center that I currently own. So things are always changing, things are always adapting, and we have more options now than we ever had before, at least for opioid addicts. So it's something to look into. It's something to at least spend some time on to figure out what the best option is for you. Now, for you, the best option might be to go to treatment, go to an actual detox residential facility where you have 24/7 supervision, you have 24/7 accountability, you have people dispensing medication to you so you can't abuse it, and you're also receiving help from a therapist, a counselor, and group therapy at the same time. Now, if that's what you're looking for and you need help finding an ethical treatment provider that will make sure that you're well taken care of, we can help you do that. We can help you find a provider totally free of cost. We don't make any money out of it. There's no benefit to us really besides us knowing that we got you to the right location that's going to give you the best chance of success. So you can go to our website, yourrecoverymentor.com. You can go to alternative or traditional treatment options on our website. There's a little form you got to fill out. It takes about 30 seconds. You submit that. As soon as you submit that, we get it. And once we review it, we get in contact with you, whether through email or phone call, whatever option works best for you. And we help you find a place that's not only ethical, but puts your priorities first. That's going to want your success more than your money, basically. Because there is a lot of horror stories out there. And my team has done tons of what would you call them, like tours, and gone through and vetted many places across the country. And so we know who the good treatment facilities are, who have your best interests, and we know the places that unfortunately don't. And so if you want help finding those places, instead of just relying on Google and making a phone call and rolling the dice and hoping you don't crap out, then feel free to contact us and we'll help you for free. Even if you have any questions about the process or what type of questions you should ask when you're calling a treatment facility, go ahead and contact us. We'll help you with that as well. But I wanted to bring up the different options for getting off of opioids, because I don't see this getting any better. I see this actually getting worse. If you look at the current situation right now in our country, gas prices are going up, food prices are going up, which means stress levels are going up, and more people are self-medicating to try to cope with what's going on, because the stress is just too much for them. They can't take it, and so they decide to self-medicate, whether that's alcohol, benzodiazepines such as Xanax, Valium, Klonopin, methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, painkillers, whatever it is. They self-medicate to try to alleviate that stress and try to at least find some level of serenity, some peace of mind in this crazy world that we live in now. So I wanted to bring the options up and at least open up a discussion about what are the best options for opioid addicts to get off of opiates. And you can chime in below down in the comments about what you did to get off opiates if you're an opioid user, and that's totally up to you. I understand the anonymous side of everything, and I understand HIPAA laws and making sure that your confidentiality is protected. But if you feel confident enough to share your story and let people know what worked for you. I mean, you're going to be helping another individual who's going to be reading that comment and trying to figure out what they're going to do to try to get off of the substance themselves. So if you decide to do so, I mean, that'd be fantastic. And if you don't, I totally understand. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I wanted to talk to you about the different options. Also, I one last thing I want to say is everything and anything that I said about kratom is just based upon, people who have done it before. I'm not suggesting that you use kratom. I'm not suggesting that you use the doses that were specified in this video. That's just an example of what I came across online. So, this is for, we'll say, for entertainment purposes only. I want you to do your own research. Don't do anything just because I told you to or I suggested that to you. You need to talk to a professional that's going to help guide you on what the best decision is for you and what the best medication is for you to get off of opiates. And if you need help with that, we can help you with that too. And I highly suggest that you not only get off the opiates with some type of substitute, if that's what you're planning on doing, but also have a plan to continue working on yourself and your own personal development. Because I guarantee you, if you've been in your addiction for any period of time, you've developed negative habits that need to be worked upon, or it's only a matter of time before you go back to your original solution, which is the original opiate that you were taking, whatever it was. So you still have work to be done. The goal is to get you off of the more dangerous opioids that could potentially take your life. So, I don't know. You got to go into it with an open mind. You got to go into it, kind of with like a blank sheet. You got to erase any preconceived notions and look at it through a different lens, because these medications are saving people's lives. Now, the downside, I would say, and I have to be honest, with Suboxone and methadone and even kratom is, they are some form of opioid to a degree, and you're going to eventually, if eventually your plan is to get off of them, you're going to experience withdrawal symptoms from them. And from what I've heard and from what I've gathered, Suboxone withdrawal is nothing fun. Methadone withdrawal is, in my opinion, one of the worst withdrawals you can go through. Kratom withdrawal isn't as bad as the other two, but supposedly there's a high level of anxiety that comes with it. But it's easier to taper off of kratom versus methadone and Suboxone. This is just research that I've done. So again, take it with a pinch of salt. This is not me telling you what to do or giving you any suggestion on what to do. This is just me sharing information that I've come across, because too many people are dying. Too many people are taking what they thought was, let's say oxycotton, and it ends up being a pill that's been pressed, that came straight from Mexico, that's laced with fentanyl, and next thing you know, they're dead because their respiratory system shuts down and they're unable to breathe, and they actually suffocate and die. So I take it very seriously, but I at the very least wanted to open up the conversation and explore the options that are out there, so that you know that there's more than one option. And if you do decide to do anything that's more outpatient based or telehealth based, I would suggest, and I know it's a self plug here, but I would suggest at least looking into the your recovery mentor program. I would suggest at the bare minimum looking into the telehealth therapy company that we work with. They're outstanding. So that you can also work on your core issues. You can work on the trauma that you've been through. Because from my experience, 90% of people who develop an addiction or alcoholism do so because they've experienced some sort of trauma in their life. Usually it's during childhood or preteens, early teens, and they don't deal with it. And then they have to self-medicate to deal with the emotions that are caused by that. And it's a really shitty situation to be in and to go through. And I shared in one of my previous videos, that's something that I had to go through, and I didn't even talk about till I was 30. So I just wanted to make this video to let you know that there are options out there. I don't want you to give up hope. I don't want you to think that, there's no other options, so I'm just going to keep using until I die or commit suicide or whatever, because it can take you to those dark places. And once you're in those dark places, it's hard to get out of them. So hope does exist. There are plenty of options out there for you to consider, but talk to a medical professional first before making a decision, or at the very, very least, do your own research. And again, we're just going to call this for entertainment purposes only. This is not me advising you on what to do or what to take in any way, shape, or form. It's just opening up a conversation about what is the best path forward for people who are suffering from addiction to opioids. Okay? Now that that's been said, I hope you all have an excellent rest of your day. God bless each and every one of you. Nobody's told you they love you yet today. I love you. I've got nothing but love for you, because you are worthy of love. You are worthy of forgiveness. You are a new person once you enter into recovery, and you have to recognize that within yourself, that you are a worthy human being. So enjoy the rest of your day. Get some self-care in, but remember, you got to continue to work on yourself on a somewhat daily basis, balancing out working on yourself with that critical taking care of yourself at the same time with the self-care. So again, if you have any questions, post them in the comments, or you can reach out to me at yourrecoverymentor@gmail.com. You can also go to the website, yourrecoverymentor.com, and there's a contact us page. You can reach me that way. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or any suggestions on videos that you'd like to see in the future, let me know. That's what I'm here to do. This is my passion. I love helping people in recovery, and I know this is a very controversial subject, but it needs to be talked about. It's not going to do us any good just to keep shoving it under the rug. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think? What do you think the best path forward is for someone? Is it total 100% complete abstinence, or is it okay for someone to do a medically assisted treatment program where they can be on a substance that keeps them off of the harder stuff that could potentially kill them, but still allows them to maintain their job, maintain their family life, and basically decreases the risk of them overdosing and dying? So what do you think? Post in the comments below and let me know. And until the next video, peace out.